Styrofoam plate printmaking, you're going to need a few things. Number one, you're going to need a piece of paper. Two, some styrofoam. You can cut it down from a plate. Please don't have eaten off of it first. A pencil, an eraser, some ink. I recommend Dick Blick's acrylic water-soluble ink. It cleans up very easily in the sink. Some paper cut down, some nice colored paper, why not? A brayer, that's for rolling the ink out, some tape, that's for holding everything down, and then stuff to print with. You can really print with anything. I recommend some Dr. Pepper. I got a bottle of sparkling water here, and then a hand sanitizer. You're also going to need a pen. So to get started, first thing you want to do is you want to outline your styrofoam plate. Just something very simple. Go to the edge of your paper so that way if you screw up you can do it another time. Wasn't going to bore you with the process of drawing out a portrait. For your first one of these, try to keep it pretty simple. Styrofoam plate printmaking is very good for cards and things like that, like a gift card. But they're also good for individual pieces of art. But for right now, until you understand how to actually make the marks into the styrofoam, keep it pretty simple. Now I'm tearing off a couple pieces of tape to hold down the paper after I put my styrofoam plate underneath it. And then I'm going to tear off a little piece of tape to hold the styrofoam plate down as well. It's going to want to slip. You don't have to do this, but it's just a very optional thing to make your life a little bit easier. And by easier, I mean it's still kind of annoying to do. So what you're going to do whenever you're transferring this is direct, smooth pressure. So get a pen, something that's a different color than your original drawing, and then you're going to use the pen to trace the lines that you have already made. We do this so we can transfer the lines to the styrofoam, and we're doing something called white line relief printmaking. So what you are pushing down into the styrofoam will turn out white, and then everything else that's not pushed down will ink up whatever color you ink it up. So use a different color pen or something like that at first just to get used to it so you can see what you're doing. It's really easy to not be able to see how things are transferring at first. You kind of just got to trust yourself. But you can see the pen digs into the paper. It can cut it. Try not to. But you're going to outline everything that you have there. You can make it simple on yourself and just do an initial outline and then do detail later. It's kind of up to you. But after you have it all impressed, you can see that it's been transferred to the plate successfully. Now, get your piece of paper and your styrofoam plate, and you are going to be making a registration plate. Any piece of paper will do, as long as it's the size of the paper you're printing with. Now take your block, your styrofoam plate, and put it in the inside. You can measure it if you want to make it exact. I don't really worry too much about it. This is a hillbilly registration. Once you get it outlined, it's ready to go. Now for printing, you're going to grab that ink and that brayer from before. Lay a small bead of ink out because you're not really used to this yet, right? So just lay a small amount out, and then you're going to try to spread it out into a square using your roller. This is inking your brayer. It's a very essential part of making prints. I can't tell you exactly how much to put on or how little to put on. It is you won't know until you actually do it. But once you have that done, a nice velvety sort of texture is what you're looking for. You don't want it to be too shiny or gloopy or anything like that. Take your block, and at first you're probably going to get ink on your hands, but it washes off with soap and water. But you're going to hold the block down because it's going to want to slide away, and then you roll the ink on. How much ink you're going to roll on, that is something you are going to find out. Until you think it looks good. Maybe shiny all over or something to that effect. Now get your registration back out, and you're going to get your styrofoam block, and you're going to put it right back into that outlined area that you had. Then you're going to take your sheet of paper and you are going to lay, using your left hand or right hand, whatever handed you are. Opposite hand is going to pinch the paper down onto the registration, and then you're going to just gracefully drop it over. Now you can print with anything, as long as it's hard. For this first one, I think it's kind of fun to just use a can of Dr. Pepper because you get to drink it out afterwards. But any can of soda will do. A piece of wood will work, the back of a spoon, really anything, as long as it's flat, will transmit pressure over. And that's really all you're doing here. So here's a bottle of water, and as long as it creates a flat amount of pressure, that's all we're really looking for. Try it out on different colored pieces of paper. See how it looks. You might be surprised with how it looks better. And for this last one, I took that bottle from the beginning of hand sanitizer, even something that has a little bit of depressed pressure inside of it. That'll still work. So find something around, something that you have. You can use your phone to print with. You can use scissors. You can really use anything. The Styrofoam plate printmaking will pretty much work anywhere you need it to. Once you're done, you make an addition. Give them to some friends. Good luck.